Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable, and as you will know, so I was exhausted last night. But as you can see, I am in Paris. Yes, Paris Olympics, as we can see here. This is my little flat that I'm showing here, my little Airbnb, and you can see I've got my little stripy t-shirt for Paris. And so I was so busy yesterday, seeing lots of stuff. Saw the French Open. No, what am I talking about? Went to Roland Garros, which hosts the French Open, but of course it's the Paris Olympics. So I got to see Iga Świątek play, the current women's world #1 from Poland. And she was up against Zhang from China. Great match. Zhang won. And then the match that happened after that was the men's quarterfinal. And that was Tommy James, I think is his name, James? Tommy James, well, anyway, his definitely the first name's Tommy, the American, against Carlos Alcaraz. Oh my God, and the match was sensational. It was straight sets, but really, what's his name? Tommy had some set points, and he managed to save some match points against Alcaraz. But of course, Alcaraz triumphed. But it was a really, really good match. It was sensational. It was absolutely boiling. Was just had the sun absolutely beating on my head. I didn't have a cap at the time. Had to go and buy one. Had to go and find one. I forgot to bring my tarot cards, so I've had to buy some tarot cards while I've been here in Paris. So when you see the words on this, it will be in French, but I know the Rider-Waite Smith deck so well, so that's all good. So it's been a little bit up in the air, and of course meeting with friends and stuff, everything like that. And we were just absolutely baked and roasted by the end of it, and I was just exhausted. So I just thought, right, okay, I will get on instead and do this in the morning. My time now, it is just gone 11 minutes past 10, but this is Central European time, which will be, what is it? It will be 9, just after 9 in the UK, which means in New York, if I take off that, so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, it's 4 a.m. USA time. So most of you will be missing this, although there are some of you actually here just saying, Angela Locke is saying, bloody hell, no tarot. Yeah, well, I managed to find a deck. Completely forgot. I even forgot my passport at home. I had to go back for my passport because we took the Eurostar, and of course it's the train, so you're not always thinking about your passport and stuff. So anyways, I left plenty of time, so I was able to get back, and everything was fine. And then saying hi, Annie Hamlet saying, glad you came on tonight. Well, I suppose it's the morning. It's the morning for you guys. Of course, I don't have a printer, so I've had to write your questions out on the side of the bag that was given me for the tarot, because there's no paper here. There's no printer. So, you know, it's all a bit of improv, guys. It's all a bit of improv. But anyway, let's just begin and get in with the content. And quite a few of you have been asking about Israel, Hamas. Obviously, a lot of news is happening in the cycles. I wasn't aware of this, of course, because I've been in Paris. And so this is coming from Gelding. So they say, have a question about Israel/Hamas negotiations ongoing for ceasefire. Netanyahu visited Trump, and now the Hamas leader has been taken out. So I understand he's been assassinated in Iran, which will negatively impact the agreement. Wondering if Trump was involved in any of this. So from what I understand, the leader of Hamas has been assassinated in Iran. I don't know if it was in Tehran, the capital, but he's certainly been assassinated in Iran. So that would be considered a foreign attack, isn't it? Absolutely. So let's see what the energy is of that. What was it again? Will this negatively impact taken out, which will negatively impact the agreement? So I mean, that's probably the agreement between Israel and Hamas. Almost certainly, isn't it? So let's see what the energy is. Obviously, I can't move my camera because I'm on a fixed pivot, but I managed to remember to bring my ring light. So I suppose that's good, isn't it? So, let's see what impact negotiations between Israel. Really isn't good, is it? It's really not good. And that Netanyahu, I said dodgy. You know, I've never been a fan. But that's not on any personal prejudice or whatever, just based on actions, the way he's behaved. He's a bit block. Ooh, that's interesting. Lots of ones. Interesting. All right. So I have to say, what I see, what impact will this have on the negotiations? So if we look here, we have got here the 6 of Wands. So, of course, the context of this question was around about the assassination and stuff like that. So that is obviously being seen as a victory. Yeah, you can see here it's being seen as a victory. Most likely, of course, for Netanyahu, probably being seen as a big victory. And of course, his ally and allies, of course, of Israel as well. You know, because it's the leader of Hamas that has been taken out. So for those that achieved the task, they're seeing it as a victory, clearly. However, if we look here, the next card here is the 9 of Wands. So this talks about embattlement, perseverance in the face of adversity, but it's showing up in the obstacle position. So I think, of course, this is how Hamas and Iran are feeling, yeah, because obviously that's negatively affected their cause. So they're feeling embattled and not feeling the best, but it means that they're actually going to fight on. So I think for me, the way I'm interpreting this card is that probably Iran is probably even more resolved to persevere. Yeah, even more resolved to persevere. When we look at the middle card, what effect will it be having on the negotiations? Of course, it's just made it infinitely much harder, hasn't it? You can see here we've got the 10 of Wands, which is the card of strife, you know, difficulty, trying to do things. But of course, it's turned up. It's not in the reverse position, so no one's quite given up, but it's become definitely much harder. If we look here, we have got the King of Swords that has come out. So this might, again, this could speak about Netanyahu, definitely, who is would come across in that way. But also as well, this is talking about the legalities as well, the legalities around the situation. This can also talk about, you know, yeah, law, legalities. This is also a sharpness as well. The King of Swords is a very sharp, can be quite a harsh card. So I think this is also going to talk about the leadership of Iran as well. So swords, you know, swords prepared. No one's really going to back down. But look at the outcome card. So as you can see here, this is Ace of Cups, which is here is as the coupe. Yeah, you can see how that is a bit shiny there. So this is a card that's normally talking about happiness, success, emotional well-being, etc., and stuff like that. So what this will suggest is that because of this this victory, as it were, because of this person has, you know, been assassinated. That has put Hamas and potentially Iran on the back foot. It will make the negotiations more difficult, certainly in the short to medium term. But maybe there might be more cooler heads that prevail. And obviously now that this guy is taken out, that will obviously change the dynamics. And then the outcome card, it seems to be a very positive card. So it's almost like this person being taken out may allow things to move forward, but in which way it remains to be seen, but it's certainly not going to be smooth immediately. But thanks so much for that question. So let's just put a little light through that. Let's see here. Now, Nick Minks has asked a question. And they say, have seen that Russia and NATO countries are doing a major prisoner exchange. Do the cards show if this is a part of an agreement to de-escalate the current tensions in Ukraine? Good question. Oh, there's a few of you in here. Oh, look, let me, before I answer that, look, so Maggie Craig saying 6 p.m. here in Melbourne, Australia. Thanks so much. There's quite a few of you here. There's 90 of you. I'm quite amazed. Hello, okay, glad to see you. You've been enjoying yourself in Paris. Yes, I have. It's not been very good for the blood sugar, though, folks. I must say, there's a lot of bread. You know, what is it with continental Europe? It's all bread, bread, bread. You know, and last night, a lot of rosé wine and all sorts. But that's what happens when you get people together. You know, you're going to be eating more, drinking more, and all of this kind of stuff. So you can't really be 100% in control. And the food here, of course, is very different from what I used to in the UK. Oh, Mickey Taylor saying 6:08 p.m. here in Queensland, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me. Angela saying good morning. And yeah, so look, look at that. We've got the Aussies. The Aussies are here. And then Teresa Ford is saying, I'm up this time of day. It's just past 4 a.m. So look at that. Oh. And then Angela's saying, is this a coffee chat? You know what? I need to get my coffee afterwards. I'm going to get a nice proper croissant. I want to have kind of like a croissant, maybe an omelette or something like that. You know, just keep it classic French. But you know, I'm just going to be watching the carbs today. Lots of drinks last night as well. Okay, so Russia, NATO countries are doing a major prisoner exchange. Do the cards show if this is part of an agreement to de-escalate the current tensions in Ukraine? So, let's de-escalate all this prisoner swap. De-escalate tensions in Ukraine. Cards. Oh, very interesting cards. Prisoner exchange. Okay, so if we look here, we've got the Ace of Wands here, which is called in French as As de Bâton. Yeah, As de Bâton. And so, I mean, this is really interesting. So this is actually representing a brand new start. Yeah, brand new start. If you look here, you'll notice that there's some leaves on this stick here. So it's not a dead stick. It's a stick that's alive and growing. So this suggests that this could be a new opening of the ways. This also talks about the initiation of new ideas, new ground, fertility, things growing. So let's just say this is actually quite a positive step in terms of helping de-escalate things. So yes, that is looking like quite a positive card, isn't it? If we look here, we've got the Queen of Wands, which is here, Reine de Bâton. So Reine obviously means queen. And it is another positive card. So I'm not going to actually read this as it being the obstacle, because the first card is positive and this one is as well. So this is the card of bringing people together. This is concord. This is like negotiation backwards and forwards. You know, this is also deals with passion. All the ones deal with passion, but you'll notice here there's a little black cat here, which is talking about the intuition that the Queen of Wands has. So this is in a way maybe kind of in comparison with the Ace of Wands. This is a facilitation. Let's just say a facilitation for potential de-escalation, because that's what the question was about. If we look here, we then have the Fool card, which they call Le Mat. So, you know, the Fool. And so what this is talking about as well is it isn't always literally the Fool card. Remember, the first two cards are positive. So this is more about a leap of faith. Yeah, a leap of faith. Because if the Queen of Wands is talking about negotiations, then of course this is requiring a leap of faith. Yeah, a leap of faith. But a leap of faith to what? If we look here, we see we've got the Four of Swords, which is about what? Bringing something to an end. So you guys will remember, this is weeks ago now, seems like a lifetime ago now. Do you remember when you guys wanted me to, on the Hogerly, read on how the debates would go for Biden and Trump, etc.? And do you remember I got this card and I said someone might be actually retired from this. I knew what was going to happen, but I just couldn't be as explicit at the time. Would have upset a lot of people. But you can see here, this is the card of bringing something to an end, bringing something to retirement, something being taken off the battlefield. This can also mean to be wounded in battle. So this is something. So when we're thinking about Ukraine, could it be that finally the situation in Ukraine is put to bed, or is this to do with the death toll, etc., stuff like that? But when we look at the outcome card, we see the Three of Cups here. So this is suggesting what? Celebration, enjoyment, pleasure. So maybe this is the preparation, I almost said the preparation. I'm getting all French now. But it looks like to be that the celebration would be, yeah. So if we look here, it looks like there's a celebration and happiness because something has been brought to an end or retire, you know, especially in regards to the war, which required a leap of faith and negotiation of many different parties together in order for there to be a brand new start. So I would say that's a very positive reading. Let's see what happens. Well, that certainly seems positive, doesn't it? Certainly seems positive. So let's go through that. Let's see who else is in the old chit chat. Oh, Helen Murray is saying very neat handwriting, Hoagie. Yes, because I'm going to have to use the back of the bag for my Hoagie questions. Like, assuming hopefully I can get all that done on time. My friend here is a bit nervous about the Airbnb because apparently there's not supposed to be any commotion or anything late at night, but I can't see how talking in the flat will be an issue. But I may be doing the Hoagie from somewhere else, maybe my friend's Airbnb. So there's a question mark over that, but I'll let you guys know, of course. Super Truthful says, looking good, young man, looking good. Ah, thank you. That's very kind. It's the sunshine. Certainly helps. And then GM from NYC says you're looking very young and rested. Thank you. It's yeah, it's been fun, and you know it's relaxing. Oh, Manuela's here as well. I'm going to be reading out one of your questions, Manuela. She says, "Hey, Mr. Holiday, yes, indeed." Oh, and then Super Truthful is saying the difficulty is just what Netanyahu wanted. It's all calculated. Now there's a Netanyahu question next. So if we look here, that's very prescient. So Nick Mint says Iran vows revenge after Hamas leader assassinated in Tehran. So it was in Tehran. Would Iran attempt to take out Netanyahu? Have seen readings by others that showed him being removed suddenly. Now, one thing is, so let's go back in, let's do a little bit of the astrology here. The important thing, as you know, as I've been saying ad nauseum, but something I've maybe not said so much, but when you look back at, it would have been my videos I did for predictions for 2024. So I probably would have done this knocking around the back end of November or December 2023. And I said, no, it would have had to been October or November 2023 because the nodes of the moon were about to change. So the nodes of the moon changed signs on the 29th of November 2023, where Rahu, because remember they always go backwards, Rahu went from sidereal Aries into, if I do it this way, because the camera goes opposite, Rahu went from Aries into Pisces, yeah, because they go backwards, nodes of the moon. And that means Ketu is now in sidereal Virgo after being in sidereal Libra. Now, one of the things that Rahu is known for, one of the things Pisces is known for, but particularly when Rahu is in Pisces, it does deal with assassination attempts. It really does. Now, of course, we've already seen how true that is proving. Now, I think I did mention that in the video back then. You can imagine I've done so many videos since then. So maybe if you guys could check for me, have a little look where I said 2020, 24 predictions. I said there'd be things to do with medicine, etc. and stuff like that. And I think I mentioned that, but Pisces is known as a sign that does deal with assassination attempts. Why? Because it's a very dissolving sign. It is the natural 12th sign of the zodiac, and the 12th, and relative to the 12th house, and the 12th house does deal with hidden enemies. So if we think, look what's happened already. If we think, of course, there was the assassination attempt on Duck Larange, but now we've had the assassination of the leader of Hamas, etc. And there will probably be more things like this, particularly as the year continues, because the nodes aren't going to change until May, the later May 2025. Yes, that's sort of like the energy that we're in. Anyways, so yes, so I'll just read that again. Iran vows revenge after Hamas leader assassinated in Tehran. Would Iran attempt to take out Netanyahu? I've seen readings by others that showed him being removed suddenly. So let's have a look. I mean, there's a huge prospect for all of these different things, but let's just see if there will be an attempt on Netanyahu's. And the other part to remember as well, there's a question about Algol. Uranus is still on Algol, by the way. Yeah, remember Uranus is the planet of sudden shocks and surprises. Look at that tower. Uranus is a planet of sudden shocks and surprises. Remember, he moves slowly. He spends about 7 years in each sign. So he's still on our goal. He's going to get to about 3 degrees of sidereal Taurus and then retrograde. Yes, he's then going to go backwards, go back over a goal. He's going to be on our goal on the day of the elections. I kid you not. 5th and 6th of November, he is exactly on that star. Oh my goodness. Then he will go backwards, retrograde back into Aries, which of course is the sign of conflict and war, station again, and then start going direct, and we'll go back into sidereal Taurus, I think by May of next year, 2025. So interesting times, folks. Will they make an attempt to move? Is that how Iran will get their revenge? And we've seen the results already of what Algol can do. So it really goes to show, you know, these stars, they are powerful, you know, and I look at them in charts and stuff like that. but they really are powerful. Oh, look at this. Oh, oh, oh. They're gonna have a go. Yeah, they're gonna have a go. We look here because what was the question? Will Iran attempt an assassination attempt potentially on Netanyahu? Look at this. We have the Magician. Now, this card, of course, is an incredibly powerful card. I consider it one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Whenever, say, like you're making big plans, yeah? Say you're making big plans, you want to do stuff in life, maybe you're starting a new business or a new venture or a new job. Whenever you're initiating anything new, that requires willpower and effort. Whenever I see this in a person's chart, and I don't often pull for myself, very rarely, but I remember one time before I started my YouTube channel, I was wondering if I should start a YouTube channel and if it would be successful or not. And my outcome card was the Magician. So I knew, I was like, wow, okay. So this card, now the shadow of this card, of course, is what? Manipulation, yeah, manipulation, exploitation. But let's not forget, this is actually a very determined card where you use every single resources on the deck. You see here, he's making his pose, yeah? He's doing his pose. Well, got the cameras, I'll just do it. Which is like the as above, so below. You see he's got the infinity symbol above his head. So the Magician talks about someone who is very, very determined and who's decided to take matters into their own hands, life into their own hands, and they become the makers of their own destiny. So it's a very, very positive card if you really are initiating something and wanting to go out in the world and do something bold. But this question was, would Iran try to take out Netanyahu? And this, of course, would have to be a yes. Yeah, they're certainly thinking about it, and they're considering all of the resources at their disposal in order to do so. Yeah, what would be that potential effect? Yeah, what is the intention of that? We look. Isn't that interesting? Because remember, I showed it to you on the base of the deck. When I stopped my shuffling, it was on the base of the deck. I shuffled again, and look, it's come back. So Iran are calculating their options, whether or not to make a devastating move. Yeah, you can see here, this shakes the tower to its foundations and it knocks off the crown here. So this can mean the deposition of a leader as well. This is also, ironically, in my book, as you guys know already, The Candid Guide to Vedic Astrology. When I talk about the outer planets and Uranus, like with all the planets, I also associate tarot cards with them. And the tower is what I associate with Uranus. Uranus is on Algol, which deals with depositions. Yeah, like I said, depositions, assassinations, attempts. So we have the one on Doerr, and then we've now had this leader assassinated. Now we've got Iran plotting their revenge. And remember, this is Algol is going to be on that star for really for a while, for a good few months. And on the days of the elections, he's going to be there. So they're certainly considering it. If we look here, this could talk about Netanyahu, you know, maybe trying to defend himself as well from a high point. But I think this is also Iran as well. Yeah, wanting to defend themselves because, of course, one of their major proxy leaders has been assassinated. So they're feeling under attack. But this is also showing, if we put this, if we imagine this to be Netanyahu, these might be the multiple attacks that Iran might up their sleeve. Because remember, they've got the Magician, which is a very powerful card. Now look at this. The victory card turns up again. So do you see this turned up in terms of how Netanyahu, or how Israel and the allies were feeling about the assassination of that leader of Hamas, but this is now looking from the other way. So this is how Iran's going to respond potentially to Netanyahu. And look, they get the victory card. So they're planning it. They may even succeed. And then if you look here, we've got the 8 of Wands. Now, do you remember when I was when we were talking about the escalation of conflict between Iran and Israel a few months ago, and I got this card, and this card deals with aviation, things from the sky, and I said, I think they're going to try an aerial attack. And do you remember they did a whole pile of drones? So it could be that they might try and take out Netanyahu with drones, or there could be a drone attack or an aerial attack, or it could be the case of maybe he's flying on a plane somewhere, yeah, and they take the plane down, or it's some kind of missile attack, or whatever it is. It's something very fast and bombastic and potentially explosive, because wands do deal with the element of fire. So when we look here, so let's read the cards backwards just to be clarified. They're going to try something potential aerial or a big escalation speeding forwards. Yeah, they potentially could gain a victory in their plans, in their act of defense against Israel and the world. We could say it could be something potentially devastating that could shake the foundations, and they are prepared to use everything in their power in order to do so. So I would say Netanyahu, based on that question, he's in trouble, and it looks like they could be successful. I mean, how else could one interpret those cards in the positions in which they turned up? So thank you for the question. Let's see what happens. We are in that energy, guys, and where the nodes of the moon are not going to change until I think it's around about the 25th of May, there or thereabouts. Don't quote me exactly, because obviously I don't have my software with me, but it's there or thereabouts, May 2025. And we're now in what, August 2024. So it's still a long way to go, folks. But thanks so much for that question. Let's scribble that one out. Say we're doing on time. We're doing good on time. All right. So this one has come in from Lenith Murray. So she said, they say, Bonjour, Hogarth. I have just heard the news that the journalist Ivan Gershkovich, and she says, sorry if misspelled, has been released. Would this cement Biden's legacy or benefit Harris's bid to become president? Oh, yeah. So will it cement Biden's legacy, or will this help Kamala Harris in her bid to become president? Good question. Let's look at this from the perspective of Harris, because as we can see, Biden has taken effectively a back step. He's still, of course, the president, but he no longer has that pressure of the running on him. And even though it was a little bit unseemly how it came about, when we see the reaction in the polls and to Harris and stuff like that, we do see it was the right decision. And when I did pull those cards, when I was asked on Hoagley how the debates would go, I did know that that would be the end of Biden's campaign. I knew it was over from that moment with those cards, particularly because he's in his Saturn dasher, which is a famously difficult dasher, and particularly if you're older, it can end a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. But now, of course, there's been the bounce. It remains to be seen if Kamala, I mean, it's certainly positive, isn't it? But when we read the questions that come later, we can also see her challenges. Remember, I said it was not going to be easy for her. All right. Will this help Kamala Harris become president? That's a great question. Thank you. Oh, I'm feeling hungry now as well. I'm going to have a good scoff after this. Thinking about her, but I'm also thinking about food. I'm going to have an omelette. So, well. Out of 5 cards, she gets 3 major arcana. very interesting, and particularly when you see the card that's come back. So if we look here, first card out is the Seven of Pentacles. Now I refer to this card as ROI, yeah, return on your investment. You'll see here, here's the guy pondering his harvest of coins. So this card talks about a prior investment and in terms of what we reap depending on what we have sown. So what this talks about is that I think this is actually a yes, yeah, even though she obviously would, well, we don't know how much she was involved with the negotiations because of course, you know, Biden was the front person. But what this suggests is that she may well have been, this could have been seeds that, because she obviously she's still the vice president, this could have been seeds that she's helped sow that have now borne fruit. Yeah, because this is the reward, you know, of the harvest of what is previously sown. So yes, she will benefit from that, and it looks like she deserves to benefit from that because she's probably been involved in these negotiations. And let's not forget as well, you know, she's a justice, a prosecutor, exceptionally qualified. She could obviously negotiate at an international level. So it looks like, yes, these are seeds that she's probably sown herself and is now actually getting the reward thereof. Now, if we look here, technically the second card is the obstacle position. However, it depends if the first card is positive or not. This is a positive card, this one here. So this is the Page of Wands. Yeah, so how do they call it here? So this is Valet de Bâton. Yeah, Valet de Bâton. So pages are all about messaging, messages. But the Page of Wands in particular is known as the orator. So of course, this is going to help Kamala with her messaging. You see, it's really quite straightforward, isn't it? So this is going to help her with her messaging. And basically, as she increasingly makes the case for her presidency, this is a positive story that she'll be able to talk about, and she'd probably be able to talk about her involvement in those negotiations, particularly if she's up against Duck Larange, if he's actually going to debate her, which I'm sure he really doesn't want to do. Now look who's come back. The Magician. Remember what I said, this is a very powerful card. I consider this one of the most powerful cards in the deck. So what this tells us is that Kamala is prepared for this, and she is prepared to lay down the gauntlet. She's going to use every tool at her disposal in order to become the president of the United States. And this is also talking about her wish fulfillment as well, because the Magician is a very ambitious and powerful card. And what it shows is, it's the reason why it's so positive is because if a person decides to make an affirmative decision, to make some kind of impact on the world. So, you know, for me, it was like, oh gosh, okay, I'm going to go for my YouTube. Is it going to work out? You know, all those years ago now, over 4 years ago now. And I got this as my outcome card. This is asking about Kamala's potential legacy. So we can see here, this could be very powerful for her, but it also shows as well that she's very astute. She has all of the tools in the box. She's a fearsome opponent for Duck Larange. You know, he's worried. Yeah, he's worried, and he should be. If we look here, look at the next card that comes here. So if we look here, it is Strength, La Forge. So again, showing she's tremendous strength. Now, if we look here, you'll see the infinity symbol, of course, is over her head as well, just like with the Magician, showing this attunement with destiny. Yeah, attunement with destiny, with the cosmos, etc. With Kamala Harris's chart, just to weave in a little bit of astrology again, she, like I said before, she is in a Rahu Dasha, which can be very bombastic, very explosive, and can deal with sudden rises. Also has a lot to do with destiny. America is also in a Rahu Dasha as well. So when we see that she's got the Magician and Strength. Now what is also as well here, if we look here, the Maiden here has her hands in the lion's mouth. So she's being able to tame the lion just by virtue of her character, her personality. I think this is also talking about maybe how Kamala is going to continue with her campaign, not kind of going down the lower energies. She is going to present herself well. Yeah, she's going to show that she's capable, but she may also show that softer side to her, that soft power. Yeah, in that more feminine way, which could really help her a lot. And then when we look here, the next card that comes out is very straightforward. It's called Le Jugement. Yeah, Le Jugement. And of course, this of course is a very declamatory card. You'll see here. Here's the bugle of the archangel announcing everyone rising up and out. So I think this is very much the bugle call. I think this is very much Kamala is going to want to wake America up, anyone who is still asleep, about the potential threats to democracy. But it's not just going to be that. I think she's going to be talking quite a positive campaign as well. So she will be seeking to resurrect, wake people up. I think this is also as well the people awakening. You know, with the fundraising, like they said, this is like she's broken all records. Remember, Dr. Ranj broke a record beforehand, fundraising when he was up against Biden. Look, she's literally, I think they said 60% of the new donations to the Democrats were for people who never donated before. So this is also showing as well, she made people that have not been considered, people that have been in the doldrums, people that have been disaffected, people that weren't interested are literally being, woken up by her campaign, by her bugle call. Well, that I don't think it's a bugle, it's a trumpet. By her trumpet call, because she's showing great strength and dynamism, but in a feminine way. She is a force to be reckoned with, is very powerful, astute, and has got all sorts of tools up her sleeve. Powerful messaging going forward. She's eloquent, and a lot of this is rewards that she's reaping for seeds previously sown. So yes, it is likely to help her campaign. Great question. Thanks so much. Let's see. So let's give it Ivan Gershkovitz. Let's see here. And I think we've got probably, let's see, yeah, I can squeeze in 3 more. I'll try and be a little bit quicker. Oh, and also as well, Manuela Orchid, you asked a question which was connected with Iran, but she says, hi, Hoagie, hope you're having a lovely, exciting time in Paris. I am, thank you. My question for today was, would there be an escalation between Israel and Iran? Would that increase, escalate immensely after what happened? So of course, that previous question answered that, but I forgot to read you out in unison at the time. So sorry about that, but you did ask, thank you. Now this is coming from Anastasia Burns. Oh, in fact, let's just have a little look in the chat and see how we're all doing here. Oh, Mystic Dat says it's 1:15 a.m. on the West Coast. I was just about to go to bed. I have work in the morning, so can't stay. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for joining. And then Veronica just says, saying, I'm reading from Paris. How awesome. Let's see here. 4:16 a.m. in NYC. And then what else here? Well, that was back then, obviously a bit later now. Super Truth will say in New York, 4:17 in New York and Brooklyn. Oh, look, Tony Springs saying 5:18 in Bermuda. My goodness, you really. Oh, and then look here, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. And then Pixel says, oh, croissants, I'm glad that you're having a wonderful time. It's 1:18 USA Pacific time. Wow. And then Sweetie Darling Lulu says, looking sharp. Thank you. So let's get in here. So Anastasia Burns has said this. Rolling Stone put out an article exposing that 70 different election deniers have been installed in swing states as election officers. That's not good, is it? will they be able to jeopardize the certification process for the election? Yeah, so let's have a look. Well, that's worrying, isn't it? I mean, the fact that they're there and people know that they're there, they are election deniers, it means they should be disqualified from that position. It's supposed to be non-political. So it's interesting that this seems to be known, obviously, at least by the Rolling Stone. And I would urge that it be acted on immediately before it's too late. It should be neutral. Now, let's see. So will they be able to jeopardize the certification process for the election? Will these election deniers be able? I know what my instinct is, but let's see what the cards have to say. All the election deniers. So nice to be with you guys. We'll see about the Hercules, see how that's going with the timing with that, because I might not be able to do it here. Because my friend is a bit worried that if there's someone speaking at night, it could affect his rating, or so. But I'm thinking talking isn't too bad, is it? These election deniers will be able to hold things up. Imagine if the tower comes back. Bloody hell. Oh, this is some interesting cards here. All right. So if we see here, we've got Reine de what is it? Reine de Denier. Yeah. So Queen of Coins. Now, very interesting, because when I'm reading on elections and stuff like that, I often I associate the Queen of Pentacles with the electorate. So isn't that interesting that she's shown up here? So this is talking very much about the electorate. But this is a card of domesticity. This is a card of security. This is the card of looking after something valuable. So in a way, we could be talking about, this could be talking about, yeah, democracy. Look how intently she is looking at that coin. So in a way, for me, this is talking, it's almost like obviously the electorate has the coin or the fortunes of America in its hands, but there's always a danger that this coin could fall out of her lap. We need to remember that, it could fall out of her lap. Oh, there's 200 of you here. Thank you guys so much, honestly, because this isn't my usual time that I'm up. For many of you, it's a very odd and strange hour. But many of you joining from Oz as well, which is wonderful. So thank you. I appreciate that. We look here in the obstacle position, but again, the first card is positive. Can we really consider this an obstacle? I think this is, so we see as the Lovers, this is really about choices. Yeah, this is really about choices, key decision makers. But this is also about election deniers. So we need to see that there is an element here of negotiation, partnership. This also deals with contracts as well. Also associate this card with contracts. So in the context, because we're talking about election deniers, and this is technically in the obstacle position, this is talking about people that have their contract, are wedded to duc l'orange and denying the election. So here we have the electorate, and the obstacle is the election deniers. That's how I'm interpreting that. Will they succeed in holding things up? Potentially, yes. The Ace of Wands is back, and of course the Ace of Wands is known very much as a yes card. So look, they've got their plans. So what this shows is, do you see here, because the wand is sprouting, it means the plans are already afoot. Yeah, they're already afoot. Remember, Duc l'Orange has already said a few things like, well, if you vote for me again, you only have to vote once. Yeah. And he's like, if I get in, you'll never have to vote again. And you know, you see some of the pundits, and they call these so-called, they call up these so-called experts, and they answer like, "What do you think Trump means by that?" And it's like, well, I think he might be meaning, I'm not quite sure what he means, blah 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 blah. It's like, what are you on about? He's saying this will be the end of democracy, you fool. Yeah. We look here, the next card. Ace of Cups, again, another yes card. Now, this is obviously talking about emotions. Normally, this is a positive card, but this can also talk about the overflowing emotions as well. So and then when you look at the outcome card, look at the outcome card, it really confirms it. Here we have the Knight of Swords, which I considered one of the fastest in the deck. It is an aggressive card. It is a warlike card. Here you can see all the Whos are off the ground. The wind is blowing, and he is wearing a scarlet robe. What is it called? Cape. And you can see his scarlet plume there, and his sword is raised aloft. It's about an act of aggression, taking things forcefully, insurrection, this can talk about. So I would say, yes, they are going to try very much to interfere with the election and hold up proceedings. But if the authorities can be aggressive with them, yeah, so if let's read it from the other way, if the authorities are aggressive with them, so if the authorities pull their fingers out and attack or get rid of these people, then of course that would calm everyone's emotions down. The election could go ahead as planned, yeah, in the usual way. A new contract would be signed with the American people or the voter. Yeah, so when we read it from the other side, we can see the positive outcome if authorities take action. But if they do not, if those election deniers are allowed to remain in their posts, then they will delay things. Yeah, as you know, I just have to say, and I don't want to scare anyone, but as you know, guys, I have to say what I see, isn't it? Thanks so much for your question. So if they act, it could be positive, but if they don't, they will mess things up. All right, let's take a look here. So that was, let's have a look here. So Donut Doc, thank you for your question. Says, hi, Hogarth. What will be the long-term fate of Dumpy's most ardent MAGA's post-election Trump? Will they find a new cult leader, or like in World War II, will they pretend they weren't who they really are? So basically that question is asking, if Trump loses the election, what will happen to MAGA? Will they remain in denial about how will they behave, basically, if he doesn't win? Will they still stick with it? How will MAGA behave if Dr. Orange doesn't win? Let's see if any cards return on which I've just read on. Oh my God, rabbits. I'm not going to overeat though. I'm going to eat more salad today. More salad, less bread. I still have a croissant though. That's a croissant is not too bad. Ooh, in the election. Wow. Okay. All right. So I pulled 5 cards, and I have 5 major arcana. Not I'm talking about. Sorry. 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 major. No, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. So what does this say? Before I even show you the cards, I've pulled 5 cards, and 5 cards, and 4 of them are major arcana. So this is a big deal. If Trump doesn't win, it means the consequences of this for the MAGA lot are hugely consequential. So if we look here, Limit returns, yeah, the Fool returns. Now, in this context, so of course, this can talk about brand new starts, taking a leap of faith, etc. Because the question is, would they find someone new? Maybe they potentially would find someone new, but this could also as well be talking about how they may be feeling. They may feel that they were made fools of, yeah, if Trump doesn't win. Particularly as he said, if you vote for me, this will be the last one you vote in. And he's also said to them as well, I don't care about you, I just want your vote. And they're still going for it. So this is also talking about a naivety that they have as well, even at this stage. Not all of them are naive, of course, and we don't want to be derogatory to whole groups of people, and I really do firmly believe that. But this is complex. So it's talking about when he's over, will they find someone new? Potentially, they would have to take a leap of faith, but this could also talk about how they may be made to feel stupid or foolish in some kind of way. If we look here, in the obstacle position, we have the, wheel of fortune. So we are living in these kind of seismic times, guys. These are times of fate, destiny, fortune. Unusual things could happen. Things aren't necessarily in everyone's control. As you know, I've read Kamala's chart. She has a lot to do with Rahu. Yeah, Rahu does deal with fate and destiny. And I think fate is stronger than luck, but Duck Laurent is very lucky as well. This can also be a card associated with Jupiter, but it means that it will be unpredictable. They will feel they are hostages to fortune. Yeah, they won't be sure of their outcome because this is turning up in the obstacle position. Although the Fool can be sometimes seen as a positive card. We look here though, we've got there we are, Le Monde, yeah, the world. So this means what? Beginnings and endings, endings, beginnings. So it would be a great ending of a cycle for them. This whole journey of Duck Laurent, if he doesn't win, it looks like it would be quite devastating for them because it means something would have come to an end. And also as well, the whole world will be looking as well, quite literally. And then look, La Justice. So another major arcana card. So could this be Duck Laurent being held to account? Almost certainly, if he does not win the election, he is toast, isn't he? He's done. Because if Kamala wins, there will literally be a prosecutor will be the president. A prosecutor will be the president. He's finished. Yeah, he will be finished. And this is why I say he still might potentially make a run for it. Sorry, let me just move that. There was a thingy bob that came in because my internet's on. So yeah, there could be major legal ramifications and all of that kind of stuff if he doesn't win, obviously. And then look, the outcome card is the Ace of Swords. So this is the the sword of truth. Again, a very it is a yes card. Here it is skewering through. It's showing the crown here again. So, and if you look here, there's a crown on the head of the person of justice. So it looks like basically he will face justice, and in many ways for the MAGA set, this will represent an ending of sorts. So let's just read the cards backwards. Truth. Ultimately, it seems truth will ultimately prevail if Duck Laurent doesn't win. Kamala will do all in her power to prosecute him because she can be shown up here as justice because she is a prosecutor. Who else could that be? That will be seen as the great ending for many of the MAGA lot. And they may feel adrift and hostages to fortune, not sure, knowing what to do next. They may try and take a leap of faith with a new leader, but they may just feel foolish, yeah, as the outcome. So there we are. Let's see if I can squeeze one more in, because Nick Minks was asking, the orange card was humiliated on stage at an event for Black journalists. Are voters beginning to see him for who he really is? And does Al Gore have another upset planned for him in the coming months? So I thought that was very important to ask because I've already spoken about algol. So let's just see here. So I imagine, I obviously I've not been able to see it, but what I assume happened is that, you know, I mean, that's a bit bold for him to go along, for Dr. Ranj even to go along to an event like that with black journalists. And it seems like they probably tore a few strips off him, quite rightly, yeah? Trying to go for the black vote when he doesn't give a damn. Doesn't give a damn even about his usual vote, let alone the black vote. No. Algol. Will Algol have another surprise for Trump? What you got to remember is Kamala has to be careful as well, though. You got to remember that that energy, it spreads to all leaders. Yeah, I'm sure she's got good security, but let's see. What does Algol? Now, the way that would-be assassin showed up in that K2 way. Do you remember when I read that section from my book on K2? I said it deals with weirdos, shooters, people that plot stuff in their basements. So K2 is like the lone shooter, the lone wolf. Rahu is the mass, you know, attack, like a big coordinated attack. You will not believe the next card that's come up. This is fascinating. So many repeat cards. All right. So is there a surprise for Algol, for Dr. Ranj? Wheel of Fate comes. If there is, it is fated. If there is another attempt on him, it is fated. Yeah, it is fated. However, this time he might actually leave the stage if that is the case. Yeah, exit stage left, the 8 of Cups, leaving things behind. Oh, and I forgot this is when you're saying in French, it is La Roue de Fortune. Yeah, La Roue de Fortune. So yeah, we got the 8 of Cups here. Having to exit the stage, he might just be like, you know, I'm done. Or does it mean he is actually removed? Yeah, because it's turning up in the obstacle position. Big emotions again. Yeah, big emotions again. I think this is the 3rd time the Ace of Cups is showing up. So a lot of aces in general. So that could be a yes. Look at this. Knight of Swords is back. Act of aggression. Someone taking matters into their own hands. Warlike. Yes, there could be another attempt on Dr. Ranj's life. And this is the Cavalier de Épée. Yeah. And then you've got the Temperance cards, La Temperance. So some sense of balancing and stuff like that, and a reflection, calming the waters. So yeah, like I said, Dr. Ranj is still in danger. He's still in danger. But this aggressive move as well could be him, like, say like there's another attempt, yeah? But if there is, it is fated. It makes him exit stage left because the emotional turmoil is just too much. And he maybe leaves that speed. Remember, this is a fast card as well. I still think he's going to try and get out of town. Yeah, I still think he's going to try and get out of town. And obviously there'll be an attempt to rebalance his life, assuming that, you know, he's not taken out. But if we look in general, there is that element of rebalancing. So someone trying to rebalance something potentially with an act of an aggression based on emotion, wanting to take someone out because they want to take matters into their own hands and change the fate and destiny of the United States. So the answer to that is we will see, but more surprises, folks. But we've got to remember as well, it doesn't just, it applies to all leaders around the world as well. So we need to keep our eyes peeled. That's 1:06, an hour and 6 minutes. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much to everyone who joined me today. Much appreciated. So I'm going to post this up, and I'll put in the details there. And if anyone, you know, wants books or anything like that, it's in the video description, or retreats, again in the video description. And then hopefully I will see you guys on Hogeli, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it here, because obviously that's going to be later at night, and that involves the ladies. And obviously they've got set times where they need to be on. So let's see, I may be doing it at a different location, but I will leave it there for now. Big love from Paris, Parigi, and I will see you all soon. Thanks so much. I'm going to get some food now. All right, bye-bye for now. Cheers.